Welcome to Terra Crumbs, the Terra show by the community for the community. I'm Eli with Amani and Poppy. But before we get started, Terra Crumbs is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing on this show is advice. Nothing we say is an inducement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy. Anything you invest in is at your own risk. Do your own research and consult with professionals. Today we have on Bobby Boy from White Whale in the White House with the white shirt. Looking fly as fuck per usual. Bobby, how's it going?
It's going well. It's good to be here.
So I'm excited to have Bob here, even though that's not his real name. Apparently, we're going with the pseudonym here. So I met Bob in Miami at Decentral. Apparently, he was an intern at the time. He was an intern for White Whale. Apparently, I have a thing for making friends with interns. We had a good time. We went to the Decentral party together. I left early. He stayed late. We don't know what happened exactly. But then also he's helped me spin up the LA Terra community group, even though he lives in San Diego. And so, yeah, we've become friends over time. And so it's been good to get him on. He's actually, I wanted his dad. His dad is the actual Terra Chad of the family. But we're settling for Bob. So Bob, tell us about how you got into crypto. Give us a 60-second version, not like the 60-minute version.
Okay. So I think around 2017, I was like, this is a scam, a speculative scam. And then my dad, so he's like 62 now. He first started with BNB and Solana, and just sprinkled a little bit, and then just like 10x, and then was like, okay, something's going on here. And like with Bitcoin, it was like a little bit different, where it was like we didn't really get like the whole. There's no intrinsic value, but like with DeFi, I was like, okay, it's replacing the financial system in a better way. So like that really makes sense. And then Terra came along, and we're like, okay, like the centralization problem with Tether is huge. Like, why do we trust like Tether over the U.S. government? So then Terra with its decentralized stablecoin came along, and my dad was the one who pitched it to me, so that actually was in May. So we got in at a pretty good time, and the July was when White Whale started, and Sebastian he tweeted out that he was looking for devs, and I had experience working at a quantitative hedge fund, and I was also working at a TradFi bank doing coding. So I reached out and got an internship, and I actually had one more semester of school left. So I was part-time doing school and White Whale, and then I just finished school. So now I'm full-time.
Congratulations. Yeah, normally, so it's like the alternate path that most of us go through, where we try to convince our parents they should invest in crypto. Your parents actually convince you should invest in it. But one of these days, we will have your father on the show. We just haven't been successful yet.
Sounds good. He'll probably teach you guys a thing or two. He knows all the degen strategies more than I do.
Is he coming to Austin? By the way, I don't know if everyone knows about this. There's going to be a DApp Expo in Austin, June 9th and 10th, with a DeFi Alpha. Breaking alpha here right now. Is your dad coming?
I'll try and convince him. He was busy for the LA one, but I'll tell him early enough that he can't make an excuse.
Terra Crumbs is sponsoring the ticket. And when I say Terra Crumbs, I mean Poppy, because he's the one who makes like $500,000 a day doing flash loans and ARBs. But we'll get into that later.
Speaking of tickets, Amani, I'm not aware there are tickets. I think it's just one of those, just show up and Do Kwon lets you in the door events.
Actually, yeah, that worked well last time, right? So funny.
Can Do get into the States?
Well, we're not going to get into that. Anyway, so what's new with White Whale? What's going on?
So we're about to roll out our V2 bot, which is written in Go. We just passed our governor's poll for flash loans, which is a big deal. So we have a lot of upgrades coming out for that to make it more seamless, because it sort of needs to be like a front end and a second contract to make it easier for people. And we have to write some docs for how to really do that. to do the development for using the contract. So we have a lot of stuff.
So wait,
in the pipeline.
let's slow it down a little bit. So for people who don't know, go look it up if you want to get into the details. But White Whale is a way for community members to help maintain the PEG. And so what you can essentially do is deposit UST into White Whale. And White Whale will use your UST to arb the PEG. And
Slow down, Amani. I'm actually really curious about this. So how
all
is
right,
White
sorry.
Whale?
I thought I was going pretty slow already.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought I was
no.
struggling.
We
Okay.
need to like stop right there. So
All right, stop it.
how is White Whale arbing the peg? Like, can you give us some insights on that?
Yeah, so currently we have a Python bot. So there's L1 arbitrage. So there's the prices done by the validators where you can always exchange 1 UST for $1 worth of Luna. And then you also have the dexes, right? So if there's ever a price difference, you can buy on one and sell on the other. If one's lower, then you buy there and sell on the other to make the difference. And then it also that price difference, it'll bring the peg back, essentially, because the peg is seen by basically the price of Luna on the dexes versus the validator Luna price.
Got it. So all of the arbitrage that White Whale is doing is on chain between the dexes and the native swap mechanism.
We quickly realized that like a lot of the dex, the like arbitrage profits, like, so we have a bot that's doing that, right? But within Python, it's a little bit slow. So we're not really seeing like the gains that we want. So like, that's what we kind of had it's just like, we're switching over to the Go now. So it's much faster so that we can be there quicker. But also we realized that the L1 isn't actually the most profitable. The most profitable is the multi-dex. And we're just starting to move into that where you can basically just see like Kuji or Ankh on like Loop versus Astroport or Terra Swap. And like, if the prices are different, then you do that. And then there's also like multi-step where it's like, you go from Kuji, like UST or UST Kuji, and then Kuji, AUST, and then AUST back to UST. And like, so multi-step. So like you can do all of that, take advantage of price inefficiencies. And we're just sort of adding that now with our GoBot. Yeah, and I think so like one of the big things that we're rolling out soon that I think you'd like, since you're talking about the B Luna ARB, is that we're going to do our Luna Vault, which is just a really simple thing where it does the buys like when it's like whatever large enough, like 2% off or something like that, and then immediately we'll do the redemption. So then it'll just constantly be doing that for you whenever it hits a certain point. So people don't have to watch anymore. And I'll also be doing that with Luna X and C Luna because they all basically have that. They all trade at around like occasionally 2 to 3% off, and then you can just wait the 21 days. And then if you do that for the whole year, you get something like 20 to like up to 30% extra.
That's
Lunas
really cool.
just
Yeah, I've like considered like making a bot for that. It's just like not capital efficient enough. But no, that's really cool.
Hey, so question for you guys. In all of that, Eli and I don't know. Did we cover flash loans or did we not cover flash loans?
We haven't touched flash loans.
All right.
What?
Should we talk about flash loans?
Yeah, let's
This
get
is
into
a new
flash
thing,
loans.
right? This is a new
So,
thing.
Yeah.
Flash loans are kind of your specialty, right, Poppy?
Not really. I do a little bit with flash loans, but not in the context of Terra. Like this is going to be like a whole new like
Yeah, no,
realm.
that's what I mean. I think when I first met you, you were doing flash loans with Dai, I believe, right? With
I was
Aave
using
and Dai.
flash loans to open up leveraged DAI positions. So just to explain that real quick, DAI is a CDP based stablecoin, so you can mint DAI using collateral. I always give people like DAI fans or what's his name, Monet Supply on Twitter, who's always fudding Terra. I always give him shit for this, but I've taken advantage of this myself. So DAI basically allows you to have like 50x leveraged positions through their CDPs. So you can deposit USDC DAI Uni V2 collateral and then mint like 90% of the value in DAI. So essentially 50x leverage. Now, if you use flash loans, like you could use like 10K and open up like a $500,000 position that's backed by LP, and you earn fees on the 50x leverage LP, and there's no interest. So it's attractive. I think like the APY comes out to like 30 or 40%, but it is expensive to go in and out of those positions. So there's some overhead there. But yeah, so to get into flash loans, Bob, why don't you take it? Kind of give us an overview of
Okay.
where you see this being applied in Terra.
So I think probably the most interesting is for like self liquidations. This is really exciting for me because I have an anchor borrow position, and I have been in the past very, very worried about getting liquidated. So basically, essentially, what you can do. So like, here's an interesting situation. So let's say like you borrow $100, and then you're not very smart, so you lock it up in like a Mars lock drop. So like you borrowed money and you locked it up, so you can't really repay it back, right? And then the price of Luna goes down, and then you're nearing liquidation, right? So you don't have money to pay back that your borrowed position, but you do have the Luna as collateral. And if you get liquidated, that's Luna is going to be sold at like a discount to people at Kujira for like 3% up to 15%, something like that, which would be a pretty huge hit for you. So then instead, you can take a flash loan, pay our fee is 0.1%, pay off your borrowed amount, sell at the same time, sell your collateral at the market rate instead of at a discount to liquidators. And then essentially you've paid off your borrowed position, but for a much smaller fee of 0.1% instead of the getting liquidated discount fee. So you take a much smaller hit and escape liquidation, which I think would be tremendous and huge. And especially like with all these new borrowing protocols, like using like self-liquidation to save yourself would be like so powerful.
So how does that work with like the anchor liquidation queue? Because you have to your bids have to age for 10 minutes before you activate them. So you wouldn't be able to use a flash loan to do that.
Yeah, it would like it's called self-liquidation, but you wouldn't actually be like liquidating yourself. It's more like you're paying off your borrow position, but preventing yourself from being liquidated. Like it's sort of a bad term, I guess, but that's like sort of what they call it like on other chains. But like in that case, you don't have the money to pay off the $100 because you locked it up or whatever. So then you borrow $100 from us, and then you sell, because now your collateral is free. You sell some of that collateral at the market rate. So then you have like $100 plus the fee, and then you pay back White Whale, and then you're free of your thing, and you didn't have to lose your Luna at a big discount.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So it's like a transaction that's executed in the context of the user's wallet, where they pay off their own loan using the flash loan, withdraw their own collateral, sell the collateral, pay off the flash loan. That makes sense.
That's
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wait, so how can you do this though? Is there going to be, you have to interact with the contract, or do you have to write code?
Yeah, so this isn't out yet. This is really just an idea that like I think would be a great use of flash loans. So yeah, I mean, like there's so many things you can do. Like people can use our flash loan for like arbitrage and extra. Like if it costs, they don't have enough capital but they see an arb trade, they can use the flash loan. That's just one use case, and I think that like that one in my eyes, because I'm an anchor borrower, I like would love that for someone to build that product. And actually, like I guess this is alpha, but this is being released on Monday. So at White Whale, we're thinking of doing a hackathon, like we're with some like a decent prize purse, maybe determined by the community, where it's just a hackathon for making use cases for flash loans, and that's my idea, maybe for someone to make, because I think that would be a great product.
Yeah, honestly, like the whole concept of flash loans, it kind of inspires me to maybe take another look at getting back into those competitive trades where you're trying to front run the mempool against all these other arb bots, because there's a lot of potential for some huge profits there, as we saw in December when there was some Oracle craziness going on.
There's
Cool.
also just a lot more new tokens launched on Terra all the time. So everything's getting spread thin.
So when do you think? So I mean, I think this is. I mean, we have to ask the question: when moon for white whale token?
I think we have a lot in the pipeline, and we just I think people are gonna love the Luna Vault. I really think they're gonna like that a lot, and I think when people see our V2 bot and our flash loans being used a lot, I think people are going to be really excited about what we've been building. I think recently there's been a lot of new shiny things, and we've maybe not been so shiny, but we're okay with that. We're just building and getting things done. So
I have to ask the question on the topic of flash loans. Do you foresee like any risk to the ecosystem with the introduction of flash loans? I personally, like, when you guys announced flash loans, like, I went through like every lending market in Terra and like looked at the oracles and make sure, like they're getting their price data from, a source that can't easily be manipulated by flash loans. Like, that's something that concerns me a bit. Have you guys considered that at all? Is there any like potential mitigations, or is that something you've even thought about?
I think
it's not really your problem, but
yeah, we've sort of just thought about it more so in the context of arbitrage, because that's what we're using for, and we sort of wrote it for ourselves and then open sourced it and made it use, because we also have capital in our UST vault, so we made that free and open to use. So yeah, I think we'll definitely be on the lookout for things like that, and in the events something needs to be turned off, we have the power to like put it back to whitelist only.
Is there any sort of like cap to how much you can flash loan? Is it based on the
yeah? So basically, I can explain how it works exactly. Basically, you call a contract, ask for how much UST you need. You do your user actions, whether that's like self-liquidate yourself or do an arbitrage. And then at the end, you send back that money plus fee. And so the contract will check that you're sending back enough money and the fee. And if not, it cancels the trade. So there's like really no way to mess it up.
And like further clarify, like for someone building on flash loans, it doesn't necessarily require that you deploy your own custom contract. You could simply just, have like a message in your transaction, take out flash loan, do actions with other messages, and then you have the repay message at the end of the transaction, right?
I think so, but that's more a question for our smart contract team.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey, so okay, we've given, considering that White Whale hasn't sponsored the show, we've given them almost as much airtime as Prison at this point. All right, so I'm looking at our list of topics. We're gonna throw a curveball. Obviously, we want to get to the Mars launch, but before we do, Bob, we're gonna play a game. The game is called Terra Protocols, semicolon, marry, fuck, kill. Okay. Which one would you marry? Which one would you fuck? And which one would you kill?
Well, we gotta give him.
You're gonna give me three options, right? You gotta give me three options.
No, you just have to choose.
No, that's not how the game works. You gotta give all three.
Do you have to give three options?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
really?
No, you don't have to give three options.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
Your options are the entire pool of
your
Terra
options
protocols.
are Terra protocols.
No, you gotta give me three. There's too many.
What are the three? All right, Eli, Poppy, which three would you give them?
I'm thinking Kato.
Of course you're gonna kill Kato. You're gonna fuck.
Is Kato a protocol though? Like, I don't know if that counts.
I think just given Terra Crumbs' relationship with Kato, we need to give Bob the opportunity to kill them.
Okay, I got this. Terra swap, loop, Ash report, go.
Oh, there you go. That's perfect.
Oh, okay. Mary, Ash report, Fuck Terra Swamp, kill Loop. Sorry, Loop. They do make a lot of good arm opportunities, though. So, Loop's pretty good.
All right. That was ridiculous. I don't know. We might have to cut that. We're gonna have to cut that.
Poppy, you
All
know,
right,
you
all
know
right,
we're
how-
gonna get a ton of shit now.
I
that?
thought that
Three.
was quite a fair, 3 selection of protocols.
No, it's true. I mean, that was
Thank
the only thing where we had 3.
I mean, we could also do
competitors.
Anchor, Edge, and Mars, but I think that's a little
Nah.
bit harder.
Do you
Yeah.
like what? I think it's Mars, Prism. What are the other Delphi? Is there another Delphi? Just of the 3 Delphis, or is there? a
No,
third?
the 3 Delphis are Astroport, Mars, and they aren't on Prism. I think they're somewhat
no.
invested in Levana.
Okay, so Mary fuck kill those 3.
All right, Mary Fuck Kill, Astroport, Levana, and Mars.
Yeah, I'm asking you that one.
Oh, you're asking me that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
this game works 2 ways, Amani. Come on.
God damn it. No, I'm the host. I'm not doing this. All
Eli's the host. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, I'm the host, Chris. What are you talking about?
right, Eli, you do it. I'm not the intern.
All right. Ugh.
This isn't fair. Eli's never used these protocols.
Well,
But to be
Um,
fair, no one's used Levana. So
I've used
Oh,
Levana. What are you
shit.
talking about?
how have you used Levana?
I got my little dragon eggs over there.
All
okay.
right.
I think
All
I
right,
think I figured it out. Okay. So
Okay.
I'd marry Mars. I would kill Astroport, and I would fuck Levana because I've always wanted to have sex with a dragon. That's my Shrek donkey, Shrek 2 style. You know what I mean?
This went totally
All
off
right,
the
this
rails.
needs to be the preview clip. But then
Poppy
we need to
goes
cut
off.
this out. We need to
Yeah.
cut this out of the video. It has to be the preview clip.
All right, let's go to well, let's talk
No,
about
come
now
on,
that-
come on. Tell me,
now that-
you guys have seen Shrek 2, right?
I
no.
don't think so.
And there's the freaking sexy dragon.
Yeah, I've seen it.
All right,
No,
thank you.
I get you.
All right,
Pablo,
this is getting
I
weird.
get you. I get you,
We're good.
Eli.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. All right. You know what? Let's move. Fuck you guys.
All right, let's go to the Mars launch because what I heard was that Eli was not happy about how it went and he had some words for Jose at Delphi. Eli.
I do have some words for Jose at Delphi. Come back home. We love you. We miss you.
So what was the story with the Mars launch? Basically, the smart contracts got published early.
So I honestly okay, let's talk about the Mars launch because I think that's like
Okay.
a really minor detail. Like the smart contracts were put on chain. Someone figured out how to claim their airdrop and they sold early. Like big deal.
That's
Is that
it.
it? That's all that happened?
That's it.
No, it's not.
But then
And,
wasn't it like
and then
our
so
nightmare?
I honestly didn't see it that way. I mean, it was gonna happen no matter what. The other issues with the Mars launch was that there was some infrastructure congestion at the time when they launched, but they sorted that out within a few hours, and it's been stable since then.
So that wasn't actually Mars's fault, right? That was
they were using a infrastructure provider. I think Denku is hosting his node, and I'm not talking poorly of anyone here, but I think it's DAC Capital or something who was hosting the Hive node and it wasn't responding or something like that. I will say though, when everyone said they couldn't claim their airdrop, I had no problem claiming my airdrop. So I don't know how much of this is actually true. It's what I read on Twitter, but I personally don't see it as a big deal.
So
I will say,
what was the controversy? What was the issue? It was just that some people were able to both claim and dump their airdrop before people who only know how to use a website were able to do so. Is that the deal? Is other people got to dump before other people?
right. Now one
Yeah.
thing I did notice, kind of after the launch, I was contemplating whether or not to pick up a bag of Mars tokens. And then I found 2 massive wallets that had it was 2 million and 12 million Mars tokens. There was 1 to 2% of the total supply, and they were just nonstop dumping. And I posted something on Twitter like, I'm going to wait till 50 cents. I never got the 50 cents and I haven't picked up my bag yet. But
Yikes.
I mean, it's kind of how the launch was gonna go, no matter what. Like, people locked their UST and they got Mars token, and in exchange, the protocol got like near zero interest UST loans for however long that capital is locked. I think it's like 3 months or something. So like I think like the whole launch mechanism, yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad in like the history of like Terra protocol launches. It was a little bumpy, but I think like overall it was pretty good. And like the protocol now and Fields of Mars, like it's really, really cool stuff.
It's a great protocol, but like, how did it differ from the Astroport launch? Right? I guess I assumed it was going to be the same mechanism.
It was quite similar to the Astroport launch.
Man, but the chart looks different. Let me look this up.
I'm curious, like what you think of their kind of like lock drop, like, and then
Well,
LVP strategy.
what I tell the most people, so like I think the whole like deposit UST and lock it for 3 months and get tokens in exchange, I think that's a really fair and like cool way to launch a protocol. Where it gets a bit dicey is like the decision you have to make after phase 1, whether it's withdraw your Mars token or lock it into LP and get more Mars tokens. From my perspective, that's just a complete nightmare from like a tax and reporting perspective. Like I don't even touch it just because of that. I do like the way Delphi is launching protocols, though. It's from the way protocols were being launched, like summer of last year to now. It's a much smoother process.
It seems like there's almost in phase 2, like it's almost a very bad idea to supply liquidity, essentially. Like if you put your Mars tokens and put it in for liquidity providing, it's almost better to just wait till the end of phase 2 and just sell it like people did, because people made like pretty decent returns if they were early.
I think where
US,
they could. I think. Sorry, go ahead.
I was done.
Oh, so I think where they can kind of improve the model is to maybe have like a penalty, where you lose a portion of your Mars tokens if you don't go into phase 2, or if you sell early, or something like that. I haven't really thought it out, but some sort of penalty that tries to mitigate the selling pressure that happens in the beginning after all those tokens are released.
Maybe more like, because there's not enough incentive, because people are just gonna like, the people that missed phase 1 are going to add UST, and a few people are going to put Mars token on the other side. So then the price is going to be high, and then it's going to end the phase, and then people are going to sell the Mars they got for locking up UST. Like, because by adding it to the pool, they're only making the price lower for themselves. But it's like the rewards they offer aren't that great.
And the other downside is you also have all the selling pressure for all these people who just, they got an airdrop and they just dump their airdrops because they don't care. So that's why I think like Luar is doing something like this, where they're charging like a 5% fee that goes to liquidity providers for like the first, however months of the protocol. I don't know what it is specifically, but I like their model. I think it can be improved. But like overall, I thought it was pretty smooth.
Yeah, I think
I'm actually
so.
not a big fan of Delphi. I applied to be their CFO, and they said I didn't have the credentials and I wasn't good enough. So I just kind of washed my hands of them. I told them I'm good at math. I don't understand, but it's fine.
Was it arithmetic?
No, it was the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. So I don't know. I mean, simple numbers, I get those. But go on. I'm just a little peeved.
So I think like the real interesting aspect of Mars is Fields of Mars, which is the first introduction to the Terra ecosystem of leveraged yield farming.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah, we've needed that, right?
Oh,
Bobby,
yeah. No,
Bobby, you introduced
awesome.
me to this. Yeah, you introduced me to this on other chains where you can borrow against the same collateral that you put in, and you can multiply your your LP rewards. So yeah, we've needed that for a while.
It's actually quite insane. So like right now you can get like 700% APY on like the anchor farm. So it's pretty cool. And you can also like with like the Luna farm. I mean, there's other ways to do this with Mirror and ANC, but you could basically delta neutral farm them, somewhat delta neutral, not like completely delta neutral. You still have like some impermanent loss exposure, but like you could take like a short position on ANC and then buy the same amount of ANC and then and then leverage farm it on Mars, and so you kind of neutral out your ANC price exposure and gain 700% interest.
Bro,
So you can
this
do
is
some, like,
this is Terra Crumbs, not Terra Brains. What the fuck did any of that mean? What did that
I
mean?
mean, you can also do it on chain with like Luna. You could take a Luna loan on Mars.
No,
walk
walk through that strategy. Just like, let's do this for our listeners.
Sure.
Obviously I understood it. Eli understood it. Bob understood it. But
so it's basically a way to create a hedged position, and you're arbitraging the interest rate that you pay on your short position and the yield that you're earning on your essentially long position. So you could take out an ANC loan on, let's say KuCoin, right? Or you could even do it on chain with like Edge Protocol. That's pretty much it. Or
okay, so let's slow down there. This is
okay.
All right, so you borrow, so you put collateral in and you borrow ANC. So at this point you are short ANC, meaning if the price of ANC goes down, you owe less money back to the loan that you took out. So you benefit from ANC going down.
Let's just pick an example here. We'll go with the KuCoin example. So with ANC and KuCoin, so you would take a loan of ANC token on KuCoin. You just do it through like their cross margin product. You would, if you had enough collateral, you could actually withdraw that ANC and then deploy the ANC. But if you didn't have enough collateral, you could just sell the ANC on KuCoin. And so whatever that is stays on KuCoin and is collateralizing your short position. And KuCoin margin, I think, allows you to do 10x. So you have a good buffer there. Like you're not going to get like liquidated if it just fluctuates slightly. So now that you're short ANC tokens, let's say you're short 100 ANC token on KuCoin, you could then buy 100 ANC token on the Terra blockchain. Obviously, you'd want to either buy it for less than what you shorted it for, or try and make sure you get a good price on it. So you'd buy the same amount on the Terra chain, then you take that 100 ANC and you would deploy that into the Fields of Mars product and earn 700% interest on it. Now the potential downside is there's impermanent loss. So when the price of ANC goes up, 50%, you might lose like 2%, something like that. And then there's also a very small risk of being liquidated, and then whatever that liquidation premium is a loss. But like there's very little risk of being liquidated if you're not like highly leveraged. And I mean, the way I do this is I don't really leverage. I mean, you could be like more capital efficient, and like on KuCoin, you could, short 100 ANC and then, only keep like, I don't know how this would work. Sorry, I haven't like thought about this too much.
Oh,
right,
really? Wow.
cut
So you're
that
just going off the dome there?
What?
Holy shit.
Sorry, I got lost. It gets complicated. But with like the collateral on KuCoin, you don't necessarily need to over collateralize the position, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I got confused. But
basically, you're short 100 ANC. You buy the ANC somewhere else, so your position is neutral from an ANC price exposure perspective, and then you yield farm that ANC token and earn 700% interest, and you're not paying 700% interest to take a short position on KuCoin. You could also do it with futures as well, but that gets more complicated.
All right, you got that, Bob?
You did, didn't you?
Easy,
You did.
Easy peasy.
Bobby, you got it? All right. By the way, I just want to tell whoever is running Edge Protocol, we don't give Edge Protocol enough time on the show. You know what I mean? Like we talk about Mars, we talk about Anchor. Edge Protocol put a nice product out there. The problem is they IP blocked all of us. So Edge Protocol, we want to talk. We want to talk about your product, but I'm not going to talk about your product until I can access it without a VPN. So you're on the back shelf.
Amani, this is your fault. Like, why aren't you VPNing by default? Like, that's how you do crypto, man.
Dude, it breaks all kinds of other things in my life.
What do you mean?
It breaks when you start VPN. How am I gonna like watch YouTube TV and all of the other stuff on my computer?
Okay, you have one browser that you dedicate to all your crypto shit, and then you set up a proxy for that browser that's always on. And so, like, you wouldn't even know if you're IP blocked.
Edge Protocol. If you want us to talk about you, don't be pussies. Take the VPN block. Take the IP block down.
Edge Protocol. I get it. Fuck the US.
Hey, man.
Anyway, okay.
Well,
so
we have one more topic. It's ARCA, which I know a ton about, but we're gonna let Bob lead us on that one.
Bob, tell us what happened today with the Anchor vote. So just to set this up, we actually talked about this. ARCA and Polychain introduced a proposal last week. We covered it on our show. If you're not sure what the proposal was, go listen to that show. If you're unsure where to find that show, it's because Eli kicked us off of Terabyte's channel and it's hard to find us now. But that's okay. We're on Terra Money TV now. Which has 20,000 Terra Money TV, which has 20,000 less followers than the channel that we were on last week. But that's okay.
No, it is you. This interview is gonna make my career.
You're super insensitive, Eli. Super insensitive.
We're trying to get Pan from Star Terror on the show, but he hasn't been returning them.
All right, so let's get into the ARCA nonsense that started today. So ARCA decided to put up their proposal, which is to basically reduce the yield of Anchor UST based on how much is deposited, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So their idea is to make Anchor more sustainable, reduce the yield for larger wallets, so that Anchor can continue to function. Completely ignoring the fact that it's quite easy to create multiple wallets and distribute multiple amounts between many wallets. So the proposal went up without really a whole lot of community feedback, and it was interesting because in the early hours of today, the proposal didn't look like it was going through, and then all of a sudden it passed quorum with a yes vote, which was really interesting. And we started looking into the wallets that voted yes on the proposal, and we found two massive wallets that basically looked like they were from the same exact person. They were both funded from the Binance withdrawal wallet, and they both followed the same withdrawal procedure where 5 ANC token was withdrawn from the Binance withdrawal wallet, and then like 5 million ANC token was withdrawn, and then like another 5 million. And they both follow the same exact process. And then all of those ANC token withdrawn from Binance between these two wallets were used to vote yes on this proposal.
So that sounds kind of scammy. I'm just reading the room a little bit.
It's very scammy because the proposal, I don't know what the intention is here, but like I don't think the proposal will do anything to fix Anchor. I think it's probably like one of the most half-assed proposals I have seen put up for vote on Anchor. What do you think about this, Imani?
So here's my take on, or here was my original take on this. I think this is complicated because I had a take on Arca. I listened to like Jeff Dorman's. I've been listening to Jeff Dorman's podcasts. He's on the Real Vision Network for months now, like damn near almost a year. They've been activist investors in a way on sushi for a while. Prior to today, I would have said that they're good actors. They misread what Anchor is and what Anchor is capable of being as a consumer product and not a DeFi product. And that they had good intentions. We should work with them. We should collaborate with them. It's obvious that things are broken on the Anch token side, and we should all kumbaya to make this better. After the things I saw today, and by the way, not only did I believe that, I went on Twitter and posted it and got absolutely pummeled because I hadn't seen all of the shit that they've been doing. and then like Ryan Ola, for example, was like, hey, you might want to look into this with this opinion you have. And I started digging into it, and it was like, oh yeah, well, there's a lot of shady shit going on. And so now I don't know what to think. I mean, they're, in my opinion, like just calling them suits and shitting on them, they're early investors, they're early advocates of the crypto space. I'm torn. I want to believe that they are just misguided and that it's not just them being shitty.
So
but I don't know what to think. You know what I mean?
It gets worse. So I posted on Twitter like when the proposal first went live, and I noticed it, and I'm like, LOL. If this goes through, I'm gonna make a bot so that you can split up your AUST deposits between multiple wallets, because like the response from the Arca team was, oh, we think it's too difficult to manage multiple wallets, and this will mitigate that risk. And it's like, dude, do you not like? I have like 10 wallets that I manage on a daily basis. It's easy. Like it just didn't make any sense to me. And then a non-intern found the wallet that actually put up the proposal, and that wallet has been dumping like hundreds of thousands of Anch token for like the past week. And then combine that with the fact that there's two wallets that basically put the proposal through gave it a yes vote with quorum. It's really, really, really shady.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, yeah. So it's fucked up,
So what does this
I
mean,
I thought these guys were like valid participants in the ecosystem, and they're not. I was actually, the thing that pisses me off more than anything is I was really happy to have them just participating because historically they've just been focused on Ethereum. And so to now have these people coming over to Terra, to me, it means like, okay, we're getting more people involved, and there's a positive thing for the ecosystem. And maybe they didn't get this governance proposal right, but we should not just shit on them. We should teach them and guide them. And I was wrong. It sounds like they're dicks, but I don't know.
So Bob,
right? It sounds like they're dicks,
So Bob, why don't you give your input here?
I think, yeah, to your point, it's basically would just add more work for like us and Psy to like basically like divide everyone's earned portion into a bunch of wallets, which would just be a pain in the ass, and wouldn't really change anything. And essentially, I think it's more of like they don't really understand. Like people think that Anchor isn't sustainable, but it's more like that the 20% isn't sustainable. So like even if the yield reserve runs out, it's still going to like yield a pretty high percent higher than most.
Yeah, we go to 15. We go to 15,
so,
right? And it's still amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, I think
yeah, go ahead.
To your point, like I think the technical implications weren't at all considered, because like I don't know if you're too familiar with ETH Anchor. But that's what basically enables Orion protocol and the Abra degen box. And as far as I know, that does not like that is just like one wallet that's like interacting, that these protocols are interacting with through the ETH Anchor API. So like just like the technical implications of this and basically just making this into like this huge mess with 3 different AUST yield bearing derivatives, it would just be a nightmare to deal with.
So let me ask you a question, Poppy. Like did you see the proposal from Jose? It's not a real proposal. It was just a tweet thread.
Was this the Pedro Explorer one?
I don't know what that means.
Maybe.
Maybe.
He posted a good Anchor proposal.
He did,
I'm
yeah.
not like, go ahead.
But I couldn't understand it because he was proposing like, hey, maybe there's a compromise where we can put gauges on the earn side. But and I responded and I was like, how would you put gauges on the earn side? And he actually said, love the ARCA team, but I voted no on proposal 18. And if you go down on his thread, how would you put gauges on the earn side?
So I'm not like versed enough in like that whole proposal to really speak to it, but what I can say is the whole premise of punishing borrowers or making it more difficult for borrowers just doesn't make sense. So I think if you're going to do anything with Anchor, it needs to affect the lending side or the AUST side of things. I can't really like get into that proposal. I'm not like versed enough in it to really speak to it.
Yeah, now. Fair enough. Yeah, it was interesting. It sounded like Jose had a proposal, and I responded and asked how it would work, but no one's responded to me yet. If you understand how gauges work on Curve, I don't understand how you could potentially apply them to AUST and not break AUST the same way that ARCA was going to break them. But I would love someone to just explain it to me.
Maybe
anyway,
Jose next week, Eli.
Yeah, I mean, I think
you want me to get Jose? I'll call Jose.
We'll get Jose and we'll talk Anchor tokenomics.
Yeah, Jose, please come on the show. Tell all your little friends at Delphi that you're coming.
Why are you calling all those friends little? Why are you calling them all little people? That's fucked up, man.
It's all right. No, it's a joke. That's gonna get out. We've already asked Jose to come on the show.
Okay, so what else should we cover before we take off?
I
gotta go see my kids.
We need to just close the coffin on the ARCA stuff. What even like made it even more worse? It was already bad. What made it even more worse is the response from like I think it was like VP of like finance over at ARCA to a non-intern screenshot of them dumping their ANK token for the past week, and he was like, "LOL, bro. If we wanted to dump on your head, we would have done it at $6." Fucking assholes. And then he deleted it. But we got
that was where we knew they were pricks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Also, by the way, it's not just that he said it; it's that he deleted it. You know. So if you want to be a bitch, but don't delete it. You know what I mean? We can screenshot things. So
just makes it look worse.
Yeah, just own it. Just own who you are. Like some nodes going down and clogging things up, and there was what looked like down. No, I'm not going to be the one who decides we're going to cover it. Shit.
I mean, I can talk about Terra infrastructure. It's like
no, let's not do it.
Points, but
no, let's not do it. Let's not do it.
Okay.
I think it just showed like the importance that all the dApps run their own nodes, so they don't overcrowd.
That was kind of the thing
that
I was. That's kind of the thing I was getting at, and I think that we've shit on Kujira quite a bit, but they were out in front on this, and they decided they're going to run their own node, so they don't have to rely on Terra infrastructure, and that's a positive thing, right? Because it's more decentralized.
And it should be like a given. Like we've done that too from the start.
So maybe we don't need to make a big topic out of it, but Kujira, congratulations. You run your own infrastructure. You don't rely on Terra stuff. White whale, congratulations. Support them by buying
Track
their
Terra,
token.
come on.
Oh, by the way, okay,
Go
can we
Track
talk
Terra.
about Track Terra for a second?
Oh, we can.
Can we talk
Sure.
about Track Terra for a second? Poppy,
Yeah,
you
is
need
it
to
usable?
So can I'm going to talk about Track Terra, the good and the bad, because we are fair on this show. All right, Poppy?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, and this Eli, this shit goes in, right? This goes in the
Sure.
show.
This
Okay.
goes in.
So we need to be transparent, right? Because I want to talk about we give protocols credit when they do a good job, and we give protocols a tough time when they do a bad job. And Track Terra was a proposal by Poppy so that we could all do our taxes. I think here's my review of Track Terra, completely unfiltered. It's been an absolute lifesaver. I don't use it for anything. I use Coinly. So I use it for the Coinly export. And so for those of you who are, starting to think about how they're going to get their taxes paid on time, check out Tractera. This was a community proposal that went into funding this. You can get a very good download of your transactions that you can load into Coinly, and I presume that it can go into other applications as well. But what I also want to say is it's not 100% seamless.
Okay, can I speak
Poppy
to that?
and I,
So Track Terra is still in beta, and we have
Yeah.
been working tirelessly to improve our parser support. And we are at a point right now where we've had to start cross-checking things against Flipside because we are so close, but we cannot find the discrepancy in our reports that are causing the current discrepancy. So it is something that we're working on, and it will get to a point where you just import the CSV and that's it.
yes. And that's cool. And by the way, all I was going to say is when you're doing it now, like, and this is the exact same, like, what I would say is it's the exact same for Tractera as it is for all of I have thousands of Ethereum transactions as well. You still need to go in and kind of review them and reconcile them. And that's just the state of doing taxes in crypto right now, right? Like none of these tax programs can interpret every single action that you make on a blockchain. And so I'm actually very happy, dude. And Poppy, I was going to give you props. Like I would be lost without Tractera. But you need to load your stuff in, you need to go in, and you need to understand like the different actions you took and make sure that they're being tagged appropriately and all of these different things. The only reason I bring it up is so that people know like this is a tool you should be taking advantage of. We paid for it as a community, but it's not like and it's the same with any of these different tools. It's not just like a plug and play thing. You need to take responsibility of understanding how your transactions are being classified, etc. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I just want to add to that. I also use Coinly because it's the only crypto tax reporting software that supports KuCoin, and I do a lot on KuCoin because KuCoin's my favorite exchange.
Amani is scared of KuCoin.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, go ahead.
KuCoin's a
Poppy.
nightmare. KuCoin has like missing transactions from their API, and I have to go like through 5 support tickets to get stuff. But anyway, the issue with Coinly, and we've actually had considerations in Tractera for this, is they don't allow us to import transaction labels that are labeled pool deposit. So when you deposit tokens into a pool, like LP tokens, that is actually a taxable event in the eyes of Coinly, and you have to actually go in Coinly and tag that as a pool deposit so they don't create a taxable event there. But Tractera generates reports that do flag these transactions as pool deposits. So if Coinly were to support pool deposit tags, that wouldn't be an issue. But the goal of Tractera is to make it as easy as possible. I'm glad it's working well for you, Amani. We still have quite a bit more work to do. Like I said, we are getting to like the end of parser support, but like right now we're just trying to sort out those discrepancies so that way when you import that CSV, And Coinly calculates your balances based on your transactions, that it all matches up to what you actually have on chain.
Yeah, I mean, look, like, and yeah, I hope it doesn't come across the wrong way. Like, dude, if you do a lot of degenning, liquidity pools, all of that stuff, it is impossible to automate your tax reporting process. So like Terra has done an incredible job. And the reason I bring this up is that I think we should be looking, and I think Poppy, you should be looking at submitting another, and we didn't plan this in advance, submitting another proposal to get continued funding. I think that Terra is like filling in an important role as kind of like a middleman on organizing the data for these different tax tools. And so those of you who are out there who are struggling with it, don't give up. Terra organizes it for you. Go check it out, import it in. You're still going to have to do a decent amount of like reconciling your transactions to make sure that they're captured well. But the alternative is like that they aren't even organized in a way that you would recognize them at all. Like Terra puts it for you in a way where you know what's happening, and then you can tag them. So hopefully that was meant to be an endorsement of Terra. I don't know if it was, Poppy, but people should know.
All right. Well, I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, of
Sounded
course.
good to me. I'll try it out.
Great words, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us, Bob. It was a great time. Please join us again next week. Bob, you're going to be our guest again next week. Thanks for watching.
Bob's dad is going to be our guest.
Oh yeah, Bob Senior. Thanks for watching. Please watch us on TTV, and if you don't want to, then fuck you. Screw yourself. Go fucking guy. We love you. Have a good night.